wewe ndiwe Petro,
wewe ndiwe Petro, na juu ya mwamba huu nitalijenga kanisa langu, wala milango ya kuzimu haitaishinda.
Karibu tena mpendwa mtazamaji wa Capuchin TV. Juu ya mwamba huu ni makala ambayo inakuangazia kuhusu viongozi wa tawa na walei, na tunaendelea na sehemu ya pili ya mahojiano yetu na mhashamu Luigi Paiaro aliyekuwa askofu wa kwanza wa jimbo Katoliki la Nyahururu.
Anybody can become priest, all of them, children. Anyway, the church started like that. Such that at a certain point, for many years, that we started the diocese of Nyahururu.
Since 2003.
Yes. And I was called by the nuncio. You know that the Pope made the Nyahururu a diocese? Oh yes, I said, everybody knows. In the diocese normally there is a bishop? Yes, I said. So the Pope has chosen you to become the bishop. I tell you, this machine here, was pumping like. I stay there now. And
He called you to his place, or he called you to his place, or he called you by phone?
I was called by phone. I was here in a meeting, and Bishop Joe, who was the assistant, was there. Called me and said there is a telephone call from the nuncio, and they want to see you there. I went, and I said, okay, yeah, I am. But I didn't say yes.
Who was the nuncio?
Who
was the nuncio?
The nuncio was the Italian one. Help me. Tonucci, yes. And he said, all these questions you ask, I have already found the answer. So what do you say? Okay, said I, come on. So, and from there we started. And the enthusiasm which was there, and it is still there, I found it, even now, to have the church, to have the spirit of the Christian atmosphere is there. Association came up slowly, they are coming up. We have a strong leaders, we have quite a number of leaders who are well seated in their faith, I mean, very strong, very planted properly. And the people work. And myself, I said, well, now that I became old, when I reached the age of retirement, I said, now, I wrote the letter to the Pope, and so now, and before they answer, the time goes, the first year, nothing, another year, I said, now, come on, and so after 2 years, we had the new bishop, and there we are now, with vocations in the seminary, with vocations coming up. This Wakora, these ones are very nice. You see, there are people that I used to beat them.
Okay.
Oh yes, and they wanted to be beaten because when And he had a mistake.
Being
He
beaten?
said, either you go home, you don't come back here.
Nowadays, children are not being beaten. Nowadays, the modern families, children are not beaten.
It doesn't matter. But
Not by parents, not by anyone.
so what? Nothing. I used to use them. Either you are going to be beaten or you never come back here. No. Those ones. And so we started, and I see that there is still enthusiasm in the people. The enthusiasm coming from the faith for being sure that God is with them. That is what I am waiting for. I am waiting for somebody to come up, any Christian, with some charismatic idea. Not the charismatic as, no, but meaning something original. Charisma. And there are. The only thing is to let them develop. You see, because the question of the tradition, whatever is inside the people, for what they live, for their history and so on, it has to become Christian.
But Papa Skofu, such charismatic or new ideas, they are not often accepted.
I know.
What does that tell us about God's new ways of showing us how to react to the new realities and the old formalized ways of doing things?
Let us not, for me, let us not speak about the old. The old is history, and we are on that history. If there was not history, we could not be here. Some fantasy. But anyway, now, it is a reality that we have Christians, and many of them, with a good association, with a good organization, with whatever. We may exaggerate here and there, but the people have gifts. The gifts of faith, by the fact that a person is baptized, he has gifts. It's a question for him to discover them, to manifest them, those gifts that each one of us have. And some know how to manifest the gifts of being Christian with their natural. And so I see that there is the atmosphere is an atmosphere of faith. Because even in the past, the people who are looking at Kirinyaga, Mount Kenya, and praying. Because everywhere I had the occasion of going to visit our missionaries, in Padua, in Brazil, in where they are. And I noticed that when we speak about these things, everywhere in the world, the people look at the mountain. Without having the mountain, but they look up. You see, such idea of having God up is that we have we are assured that we are protected, because the God of our fathers is there. And it is on that faith and that God that we believe. In the past, the people had their own idea about God. And now, with the teaching of the church, we know who God is. And so we have to really to work on that. Because the people came up with the idea of God. Now, who is God? There we are. God, yes, with God there is Christ, with Christ there are sacraments, and so slowly we get the Christian people a formation that we never finish. Never. So now we have all these taka things here. I mean, all these cameras, all these big pictures, all whatever it is available to show to whom? To our people. The people enjoy when they come to the church. That is the real faith. They come joyfully to the church. And when they get to the sacrament, they are more joyful. And that is how the Christian faith goes and develops.
Juu ya mwamba huu tunaongea naye mhashamu askofu mstaafu Luigi Paiaro, aliyekuwa askofu wa jimbo Katoliki la Nyahururu, askofu wa kwanza wa jimbo hilo la Nyahururu. Jiunge nasi baada ya kitambulisho.
Wewe ndiwe Petro,
Wewe ndiwe Petro, na juu ya mwamba huu nitalijenga kanisa langu, wala
milango
ya
kuzimu
haitalishinda.
Capuchin TV, kitambulisho Katoliki.
O woman, great is your faith. Be as great as the great women of the Bible. Be a Samaritan woman. Become an evangelist for Jesus Christ. Comfort your past truthfully and transform into a motivating mouthpiece for the Lord. O woman, great is your faith. Be as great as the great women of the Bible. Five books of Pentateuch. The Pentateuch books are the first 5 books of the Bible. The word Pentateuch comes from 2 Greek words that mean 5 books or 5 scrolls. According to tradition, these books were written by Moses. These books are Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. 5 books of Pentateuch.
Capuchin TV, your Catholic identity.
wewe ndiwe Petro,
Wewe ndiwe Petro, na juu ya mwamba huu nitalijenga kanisa langu, wala
milango
ya
kuzimu
haitalishinda.
Karibu tena mpendwa mtazamaji wa Capuchin TV. Juu ya mwamba huu ni makala ambayo inakuangazia kuhusu viongozi wa tawa na walei, na tunaendelea na sehemu ya pili ya mahojiano yetu na mhashamu Luigi Paiaro, aliyekuwa askofu wa kwanza wa jimbo Katoliki la Nyahururu.
Nowadays there is a very marked
ways of evangelization in terms of as children, PMC, there are the youths, there are CWA women and Catholic men,
Yes.
and other various prayer groups. What is your intake, or what's your input about the growth of faith in the last 10, 15 years in the country?
The growth of faith.
Of faith and the
Well,
manifestation of those groups.
Those groups are an expression of faith. And the people who go and become member of that group, they like, maybe unconsciously, it doesn't matter, but they know that this, the group that attract me, I want to be a member of the Choa. Why? Why? And I like, yeah, that like, that desire means that there is the grace there that needed to be developed. So the Choa developed their own gift that they receive through baptism, through a sacrament, to take their faith in the family. Not to speak about the man, the Catholic Man Association, which is so strong. And so strong, I mean, because we have a man really planted, very solid, you see, like this thing that they don't fall down because they are well planted, well sustained. And so the sacramental life should be really taught, should really be known by the people. So our duty, who is our? Myself, you, the other one, all people, but especially we priests, bishop, priests, Christians, leaders, we have to be conscious that we received the vocation, because even the Choa have a vocation, even the men, even those boys here. You see, we are old boys. We are old. Why is that they like to meet every year the older boys? And they selected one of them to be their chairman.
Are they parents now?
Those ones, they are Guka and such. No, it is, you see, the work of the grace of God. I fear sometimes that we may be an obstacle of the grace. It is easy to become obstacles to the grace of God. Nevertheless, we have not to be discouraged, because we are priests, we are Christians, and it is in His interest, in the Christ's interest, to keep us safe in our faith. Because they pray the rosary, even this Wakora here.
Okay.
Not all of them, of course, but what I started fearing a little bit is the question of the sacrament, especially the sacrament of wedding, matrimony. I have not yet meditated so much about that, but I fear about that sacrament, which may not be appreciated. Why in 20 years past to make a wedding? Where?
Big news.
Now, and is one field where we church, we priests, especially priests, have to look into. Is it in another wider way? Is it in a proper way? Because as any sacrament has its own graces. So the wedding sacrament is the one which unites the family. And they must have that strong unit which comes from the grace of God. So the husband and the wife must know not only their duties, not only to have money to send the children home or to send them to America to study, but that sacrament is something sacred, personal, with God only. You and God. That is what is sacred. It's a secret, but it is so planted in the heart that even God will not delete it. Such that if you are married, you are married. And you cannot joke, you cannot, what should I say, do whatever you want. No? No? If you embrace the sacrament is this one, the preparation is done, whatever, and the faith will continue. The faith is a gift, and God is God because He gives us gifts, and the first gifts come through the sacrament. We have received the baptism, the sacrament of faith. We have received so many other things, and it is where we have to meditate, to discover,
Askofu, they will tell you there are a lot of challenges in the modern contemporary world. How would they, for example, continue to abide together as a husband and wife amidst the challenges that they are going through? How would they overcome the modern challenges?
Is a normal question. Is not an extraordinary question, because we live with that. The question is how. How is it come? How, what? The influence of the Naida world is so strong that our Christians should be prepared. And that is why we insist on the preparation of the sacrament. Preparation, what do we prepare? We prepare our mind and our faith, because if our mind is on the sacrament, is on this Eucharist, well, I want to receive the Eucharist, and to receive the Eucharist with all the graces, I have to be clean inside. And so there is the confession, and so on. There is an act of penance. Now, with all these things coming up, which came up, and they are there, and those good things now are becoming worse, because the devil works in what is good. Yes. What is bad is already devil. And the devil wants to enter in what is good, so that good thing there become worse. The wedding is an example. And it's a good example because it involves the life, it involves the Christian life, it involves the sacramental life, it involves the doctrine, it involves the normal life we live. And the normal life is under attack, because people seem to be more attracted by what is abnormal. And so, on one side we have the politics. On the other side we have the private life, which is involving the politics, because we have to vote, we have to choose, right? But my Christian life should put something good even when I cast the vote, because it is my duty to be in the country.
Juu ya mwamba huu tunaongea naye mhashamu askofu mstaafu Luigi Paiaro, aliyekuwa askofu wa jimbo Katoliki la Nyahururu, askofu wa kwanza wa jimbo hilo la Nyahururu. Jiunge nasi baada ya kitambulisho.
Wewe ndiwe Petro,
Wewe ndiwe Petro, na juu ya mwamba huu nitalijenga kanisa langu, wala
milango
ya
kuzimu
haitanishinda.
Capuchin TV, kitambulisho Katoliki.
¿Cómo puede ser que actualmente muchas minorías religiosas sufran discriminaciones o persecuciones? ¿Cómo permitimos en esta sociedad tan civilizada que haya personas que sean perseguidas simplemente por profesar públicamente su fe? No solo es inaceptable, es inhumano, es una locura. La libertad religiosa no se limita a la libertad de culto, es decir, a que puedan tener un culto el día que es prescrito por sus libros sagrados, sino que nos hace valorar al otro en su diferencia y reconocer en él a un verdadero hermano. Como seres humanos tenemos tantas cosas en común que podamos convivir acogiendo las diferencias con la alegría de ser hermanos. Y que una pequeña diferencia o una sustancial diferencia como es la religiosa no opaque la gran unidad de ser hermanos. Elijamos el camino de la fraternidad, porque o somos hermanos o perdemos todo. Recemos para que las personas que sufren discriminación, que sufren persecución religiosa, encuentren en las sociedades en las que viven el reconocimiento y la dignidad que proviene de ser hermanos y hermanas.
Capuchin TV, your Catholic identity.
Wewe ndiwe Petro,
Wewe ndiwe Petro, na juu ya mwamba huu nitalijenga kanisa langu, wala
milango
ya
kuzimu
haitanishinda.
Karibu tena mpendwa mtazamaji wa Capuchin TV. Juu ya mwamba huu ni makala ambayo inakuangazia kuhusu viongozi wa tawa na walei, na tunaendelea na sehemu ya pili ya mahojiano yetu na mhashamu Luigi Paiaro, aliyekuwa askofu wa kwanza wa jimbo Katoliki la Nyahururu.
My Christian life is in my family, and I cannot accept parents. I cannot accept this one to go the other side. I want him to be so discussion, so questions, so thinking about what we are doing. because the love comes from God. To joke, to make funny, or the real love is against God. The love, what is it? What is it, love? Love is God, yes. But there are expression of love. And the most fundamental, the most natural expression of love is the wedding, to be together, or with the other one. You and your husband. You and your wife. And now there, what play, what is there, are the sentiment. I should not confuse the sentiment with the reality. Sentiment of love are very dangerous. The reality of love is something solid that becomes solid through the prayer together, through the sacrament, through the graces of God that God gives, and to have the idea that God is the one uniting. Now they have the telephone, they go to bed with the telephone, and when they are in bed, under the blanket, you see, that is what they are doing, like among, I tell them, maybe.
Well, those are some of the challenges that both parents and children.
Certainly, yes. These are the challenges that we have, all of us. And so the sacrament of matrimony, yes, is extremely nice. If you don't have matrimony, you don't have people. Matrimony comes from mater, the mother, mother. The mother is the mother which is the sustaining of the family. The father sustains the family strongly, in the sense that he is present, and this presence should irradiate whatever is good. Between them comes something else, and that is the devil that comes in easily because the sentiment of love is a common sentiment. But that common sentiment is so rich that it is expressed towards the love for the other. But if your love for the others is not for that one, where do we go?
Tabascoff, let's talk about the sustainability of the diocese.
Yes.
When you took over and when you left office, there are offices that were supposed to be established.
Yes.
Financial office and vocations office. How do you see those offices helping the faith in Nyahururu diocese to grow, even beyond Nyahururu?
A house like this means that there is somebody. And the presence of a person is always encouraging. Now, the diocese is an institution, an organization that includes everybody. So now, it is good that we have a place where we can meet, an office where we can meet. We start with what? Start with the office of the bishop. So we built, I say we, yes, because A Padova, that diocese, who are interested, gave support. And other friends that we know help, because that help is a charity. Charity is an expression of love, the charity, because since that person is in need and I can intervene so that the need will not become a burden, it's a duty for me to do it. So when the diocese started, even the people among people here, they were very enthusiastic. And they are even now enthusiastic. The enthusiasm is there. And look at the parishes. Parishes have come up, and they are coming up. And they are building their churches. The Christians are building their churches. Those Christians are the same people who have built the offices of the diocese. And so the contribution, apart from the external contribution, because the whole church, even the Vatican, sustain, give something. You specifically tell, I would like this. They say, well, yes. And so it becomes a natural thing, so difficult even, but it is necessary. And when something is necessary, I need a piece of bread. I like it. You go until you find a piece of bread. So it's not that everything now is settled. In the parishes, when I think about that, there is need for all the churches, for local churches. There is need for a priestly house. There is need for offices. The risk that I see is to have things very big.
Tumekuwa tukiongea naye Mhashamu Askofu Luigi Paiaro aliyekuwa askofu wa kwanza wa jimbo la Nyahururu, na ushuhuda wake ni huo, ambaye anashuhudia kuhusu imani na huduma ambayo amefanya katika jimbo Katoliki la Nyahururu. Jiunge nasi wakati mwingine kwa makala mengine juu ya mwamba huu. Ni mimi wako ndugu Peter Waweru, Francisco Mkapuchini, kwa niaba ya wote waliofanikisha makala haya. Mungu akubariki na kukulinda.
Wewe ndiwe Petro,
wewe ndiwe Petro, na juu ya mwamba huu nitalijenga kanisa langu, wala milango ya kuzimu haitanishinda.
Capuchin TV, your Catholic broadcasting ministry.
Amri za Mungu. Ndimi Bwana Mungu wako. Usiabudu miungu wengine. Usilitaje bure jina la Mungu wako. Shika kitakatifu siku ya Mungu. Waheshimu baba na mama, upate miaka mingi na heri duniani. Usiue. Usizini. Usiibe. Usiseme uongo. Usitamani mwanamke asiye mke wako. Usitamani mali ya mtu mwingine. Amri za Mungu. Kupata amri za Mungu, kama sikiza tune yako, bonyeza neno sikiza
likifuatwa na nambari 738 10251.